First of all, I want to tell you about the place of Russia among the biggest consumers of metals. It's good news for Russian economy. Yes, Russia is a very big country, and Russia is number 6 in the list of biggest steel consumers. But before it, I want to tell you why I like to analyze metal consumption so much. It's very interesting because if you look on the statistics of metal consumption for a long time, you can identify the stage of economic development of different countries. For example, you can see that one country is now on the pre-industrial stage of development, another country starts industrialization, maybe another country just finished industrialization. You can identify countries on the post-industrial stage of development, etc. And another important point that economic growth cannot be achieved without metal. Digital economy is a very good thing, but if you haven't enough physical infrastructure like roads, bridges, railroads, etc., you can build digital economy. And if you want to identify stage of economic development, you can analyze volume, physical volume of metal production. But it's very important, but the most important is to analyze quality of economic growth and quality of metal products. If you want to analyze it, you can use cost parameters. So here's the list of biggest metal consumers, and the first important indicator is apparent steel use. What is it? Here's a formula. It's steel production minus export of steel and plus import of steel. And Russia is number 6. Our share in the world is only 2.4%. And if we use this indicator as characteristic of the size of economy, we can conclude that Russian economy is only in 20 times less than Chinese economy. Only 20 times. And the US economy is only in 8 times less than Chinese economy. And also we can characterize the speed of economic growth. For the last 18 years, speed of economic growth was very high in China, in India, in Turkey. In Russia has average speed of economic growth below average, because world average is 2.25. On the next slide, this slide is very important for me. We can see some countries and regions like Africa. Another indicator is apparent steel use per capita for one citizen of a country. And the level of Africa is a pre-industrial level. We suppose in our laboratory that level below than 100 kilograms for one citizen in a year is a characteristic of pre-industrial stage. And now Africa and India are on a pre-industrial stage of development. But please look on the dynamics. Level of Africa is stable, no change for 18 years. But India increased apparent steel use per capita approximately 2.5 times. And please imagine what will be if India receive level of China. I think it will be dramatical consequences for the climate on our planet. Please be ready. I think in the next 50 years it may be, but not in the next 5 years, of course. So what about Russia? Russia's level is like world average level. I think it's a good level. It's indicator of industrial stage. What about United States? We can see crisis in United States and in Japanese economy for last 18 years. We can see economic growth in Turkey, in China. We can see a reason for trade war between, one of the reasons for trade war between United States and China, because now China consumes 2 times more steel for one citizen than United States. And I remember that Doug told us that United States needs a new program to renew infrastructure. It's a very good idea for USA. And at the right side of the graph, we can see 3 countries with abnormal level of steel consumption. It may be only 2 reasons. It may be very high development mechanical engineering, like in South Korea, or we can see a very small number of citizens, like in United Arab Emirates, plus active stage of industrialization. We know that in United Arab Emirates, in other countries like Qatar, a lot of immigrants. That's why not so much natives. And what about Czech Republic? It's a mystery. No, not mystery, of course. I know that in Czech Republic, not so much population, and in Czech Republic is also good developed mechanical engineering. For example, one of my friends works in the company, in a Russian company, which imports a lot of equipment from Czech Republic to Russia. That's why I can conclude that it may be. The last indicator of steel consumption for today is a true steel use. Why true? Because we can take into account indirect export and import of steel. What is indirect export of steel? It's steel equivalent of exported goods. For example, steel, as Andrei Kolpakov said, for example, steel equivalent of one car is 1,200 kilograms. Steel equivalent of one electric car is about how much?
1.7.
No. Several hundred kilograms. Steel, ferrous metals. Ferrous content of electric car. So, and it's possible to calculate steel equivalent of export and import. And after that, we can build graph and compare. Apparent steel use, it's green. What is important? Only 2 points. The first, that in 2000 year, Russia was a net exporter of steel-containing goods like machinery, equipment, and vehicles. It was good for Russian economy. But unfortunately, since approximately 2003 or 2004, when price super cycle for metal started, Russia transformed to net importer of steel-containing goods. And the biggest difference was in 2012, 9.6 million tons of steel equivalent of equipment. So it was a loss of for Russian mechanical engineering, its potential size of domestic market. At the next slide, we can see that Russia's place is number 2. Russia is one of the biggest net indirect importers of steel, Russia and United States. So, my congratulations, Russia and United States can receive silver and gold medals, respectively, for this achievement. And also, if you see at the list of net indirect importers of steel, you can identify, except United Kingdom, United States, Russia, Canada, and Australia, all these countries are big exporters of natural resources. And the next list is biggest indirect exporters of steel, or these countries like China, South Korea, etc. They are leaders in the world market of equipment, machinery, and vehicles. But we can see that South Korea, Japan, and Italy are currently losing their positions on the world market. That's why we can learn experience of China and Germany, how to develop, how to support domestic mechanical engineering, how to reinforce inter-industry relations between metallurgy and mechanical engineering, because it should be one of the priorities of Russian state industrial policy. Now I want to start speaking about the second block of my presentation, about the system of metal turnover in Russia. What is it? In our laboratory we use a very simple model of economy, which economy can be, we can see on economy like on a black box. This is economy, for example, economy of the Russian Federation. We can import raw materials, or we can import finished products, like equipment. Also, we can use domestic resources, we can use it in national economy, or we can deliver it to export. And also you can see definition of system of metal turnover. It is a system of interconnected industries, from the extraction of metal ores and collection of metal scrap to the production of metals and production of metal-containing goods. At the next slide you can read about 4 main blocks which are included in the system of metal turnover. It's production of primary raw materials for metallurgy, metal ores and scrap. It's production of basic metal products like, for example, rolled metal. It's production of fabricated metal products, for example, perforated metal sheet, and steel containing goods like equipment. And here you can see characteristic of Russian metal turnover system. If we compare Russian export and Russian import, we can conclude that in Russian export a lot of raw materials, mostly iron ore, and a lot of basic metal products, maybe 90% in physical volume, in million tons. But in Russian import, not so much raw materials, only mainly iron ore from Kazakhstan, import of iron ore from Kazakhstan, but a lot of import of steel containing goods. The maximum was 13.3. And after that we should compare physical volumes with the cost volumes. If we can see, please close your eyes and open your eyes. Very big difference. For example, what about Russian export? A lot of raw materials, but if you look at the cost structure, you need a telescope to identify share of raw materials in the structure of Russian export. That's why it's absolutely not important for Russian federal budget. It leads only to the problem of Russian connected with overload of Russian railroads. What about iron and steel? It's important because we can export semi-finished products which costs about $400 US per ton. But also we can export expensive. We can export, for example, rolled metal which costs several times more. But if you look on the import, maybe 95% in the structure of import is still containing goods, machinery, equipment and vehicles. So, what can I say? Of course, it's not a mystery. We should develop export of steel containing goods. And also, we should use high technological import to renew production facilities. After that, I compared a national system of metal turnover in Russia, in Germany, and of course, national system of metal turnover in Germany is better developed, and we can see integral indicator, like ratio of ratio of price of 1 ton exported divided by cost of 1 ton of imported goods attributed to the system of metal turnover. And in Russia is below 1. That's why Russian economy is not so effective if we think about the metal turnover. And in Germany is more than 1, and difference between Germany and Russia in the last year was in 30 times. So German economy is in 30 times effective than Russian economy in terms of metal turnover. And also we can analyze foreign trade balance connected with the metal turnover. Watch for Russia. Result for the last 18 years is minus $76 billion, and for Germany is plus $220 billion. And what are the most important conclusions? That, of course, investment needs of Russian economy are provided by domestic mechanical engineering. We have a very big negative foreign trade balance connected with the trade in equipment. But in Germany, we can see stable positive foreign trade balance. And of course, when we should analyze not only separate industries, but we should analyze big industrial complexes like metallurgical engineering complex. We also use, in our laboratory, we use such term because we suppose that metallurgy and mechanical engineering should develop together. That's why it's possible to introduce some government regulation measures which help to eliminate disproportions in development of metallurgy and mechanical engineering. I suppose that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vasily. You are in time, so please, questions? Some questions, please. No specialist in metallurgy except Doug.
Well, I'm sorry, this question isn't really directly about your talk, but I'm just curious, what do you think Russia needs to do to improve its performance, especially in this machinery, equipment sectors? Does it need foreign investment, or is it the labor force skills that need to be improved, or what's the solution, do you think?
It's a very interesting question, and solution is not simple, of course. I think we don't need foreign investment, only money. Maybe we need smart investments, money plus technology plus people. Of course, we need it. But we have a lot of money in Russian economy. We have positive foreign trade balance. We have a lot of money, so money is not a problem for Russia. People, maybe. What was the main problem? That since 2004, after the price super cycle started, our Russian oil companies, gas production companies, and metallurgical companies, they received a lot of money, and they started to spend this money to purchase not domestic equipment, but they want to purchase foreign equipment. It was a problem. So, and after that, we lost big part of Russia of domestic mechanical engineering because of problems with demand. If Russian companies have a lot of money, they spend it abroad, not in the Russian economy. So, but what is solution? One solution was introduced by Andrei Belousov, but it was not so popular solution. It was to confiscate all profit from metallurgical and from the petrochemical companies, but
Andrei Belousov is an advisor, economic advisor of President Putin, just for our foreign colleagues. So, another question, please.
Yes, I don't know anything about the Russian economy, but it's, if you look at the world, currently this fight between the United States and China is given by tariff, increasing the tariff. Other countries have been instead of increasing the tariff, say, okay, you can come to the country, make investment, okay, but you have to bring the production inside, under what you said. And the question is, there is market mechanism. There are not too much, but just taxes, subsidies, or prohibitions. So, which one you want to use in order to give incentive for foreign investment come to the country with technology, people, and so on?
Which measures taxes, what else? Subsidies, and
There is just three. Taxes, subsidies, and provisions. It means that you don't allow the subsidy will be done. Okay. So those three tools that you have in the economy market.
And which tool is the best?
Which one might be willing Russia to use? For example, China is using tariff. This is a tax. Is that really working in Russia? Or will be better a subsidy or prohibited subsidy?
I would like you to make a notice of the three countries on the right of this chart: Czech Republic, United Emirates, and South Korea. Because these three countries, I will also mention them in my presentation on Thursday, and they will be very different on one scale, but very similar in some consideration. I will not disclose it now, but just please make a notice that they are very close in the use of metals. It is somehow connected to what I will be speaking about. Thank you.
Thank you. So, enough questions? Thank you very much, Vasily.
thank you.